So we've just walked through 20 days of heart health. This is day 21, and I love doing a wrap up, a finale on the last day, because I think it's important to kind of go back and say, what did we learn? What did we glean from this? And while I know that not everybody is caught up or has maybe read everything, I truly believe and know that you will get what you need, what your body, what your mind, what your soul and spirit need out of anything that you put effort into. So if you've only read 5 days and that's all that you needed in this time. I have a few things that I wanted to break down. We went through 3 different types of heart health. And the first one is, I'll blow through it quickly because I have learned a long, long time ago to not mess with people's taste buds. I get it. It's a fierce battle. It's a heated argument on social media. What's good? What's not? This can kill you. This won't. But all I'm going to talk about today is just science and data, not the world according to Jen Weir, because even that obviously is so fallible. But on a Google search, Healthline and PubMed, when you look up what are some good foods, what are foods that are good for heart health? Here's what comes up. Leafy greens, dark chocolate, let's all just give a thanks of praise. Walnuts, also praise. Beans, whole grains, berries, specifically dark, so like blackberries, raspberries, blueberries, those types of, goji berries, wolfberries, avocados, fatty fish or fish oil. And then you look up what's a food that's not good for the heart. And here's what it comes up with: red meat and bacon, sugar, processed meats, which again, going back to the bacon, high salt, diets with high salt. We need some salt, but not a lot. And so what we did in one of the first couple of days is I had you all just have a look at your food. And not to say, I'm not here to tell you, get rid of your red meat and your bacon, though that is something that my family did to help my husband not keel over a heart attack, but just really assess it. Is 90% of your diet filled with dark leafy greens, chocolate, dark chocolate, by the way, walnuts, beans, berries, fatty fishes, avocados, those types of things? And if not, and you want to support your heart, maybe there's a way you could adjust it, right? If we look at our diet and think, okay, let's look at the plate as a whole. Meat is totally fine. It's obviously from God. After the flood, he said to Noah, every living thing I've given to you is food. And he had some stipulations for the children of Israel on cleanliness and all that. I won't get into all of that. But when you look at your plate, is it mostly heart health foods? Or is it mostly just a taste bud thing? Just food for thought. The second thing that we talked about, really in brief, because then throughout the rest of the time I talked about maybe this oil for emotional healing and all that, is specific oils to heart health. And as we all know, if you use essential oils, you realize they're adaptogenic. And so where I might enjoy ylang-ylang for my heart and feel like, no, I know that it's doing good, somebody else may prefer lavender. But here's a list, just a small list of some oils that you would want to have in your arsenal for just optimal heart health. This is on a physical aspect. So we've got ylang-ylang, cedarwood. Cedarwood and lavender, those are just the oils that we want to have maybe dotted around a couple of rooms, right? So cedarwood, lavender. And then these are 3 that I was surprised when I did my research on it, but it was sage, rosemary, and thyme are excellent for heart health, which made me think of the song Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme. And I did a write-up on that recently, a year ago, and then I rewrote it again, just about how those particular oils and herbs remove bitterness and hate and anger from the heart, which I thought was really, really powerful. Because you think about those, just dream with me for a minute. When we think about that for like Thanksgiving, the fall time, those are herbs that we see so much. I just think it's interesting. So your oils, so there's 2 types of people, right, listening and concerned about their heart health, or concerned in a way that you're thinking about it, not in a worry, concern, but just this is on my mind, top of mind. People who understand that we have 11 body systems and that they all need to be supported, right? And so at various times in your life, you'll think, okay, I need to do my endocrine system. Maybe now it's time for my skin, perhaps my cardiovascular, digestive, right? And we go through this throughout our lives, really just a happenstance. Me wanting to support my thyroid and part of my endocrine system came as, you know what, I've just healed my adrenals. Perhaps I should take care of my thyroid. And with that, I found through research, the best thyroid, I don't want to say healer because we're recording and I don't want someone to get angry, but it really helped my thyroid, specifically helped my heels. So just by thinking, I think I'm gonna support this body system, I was able to come up with that. And so that's one type of person thinking about heart health right now. The other type of person is someone who maybe has dis-ease or discomfort in their family of origin, in their bloodline, and is wanting to either stave that off or has had maybe a report of you should really be more on point with your support. And to those people, obviously, you have to look back at, why do I have this report? Sure, if it's hereditary, that is also actually a curse. I mean, you guys can look that up. That is something you can break and change your family tree. But your oils that you're going to choose are going to be very specific to your condition. What we know about the heart, and we'll get to this in just a moment, is that, well, what we know about all discomfort and dis-ease is it comes from emotions. It stems there 100% of the time, 100%. I was talking to a relative the other day about skin cancer. And she was asking about our sunscreen. And she says, well, isn't it the sun that causes skin cancer? Because I told her that actually, since we eat foods that support our body's internal sunscreen, I don't really use our sunscreen much anymore. And she says, well, aren't you concerned about that, with your family? I said, no, because the sun doesn't cause skin cancer. Sunscreens cause skin cancer. Bad thoughts cause skin cancer. That's what causes it. It's not the sun. God made the sun. It's not going to hurt us. The third thing, and this is where we'll camp for just a few moments. The third thing is guarding your heart. So we have foods for the heart. We have oils specific to the heart. There is one that I left out, Aroma Life, which I know a lot of people really sing the praises of Aroma Life. It's not one that I have experienced anything profound, so I rarely speak about it. If anyone has had just a mind-blowing experience with it and you want to share, I would love that, or just share it in the group. I put it on, but I prefer ylang-ylang and lavender. That's just me, right? We can't speak from what we don't know. And I have been sharing Young Living oils for 8 years. So I've come to the point, it's like, I can't tell you about something that I just read about. I have to experience it. I couldn't tell you how amazing Ningxia Red is for the heart until I experienced it in my own life and in my husband's life. So while Aroma Life, it is good for the heart, it's not one that I can speak to. Okay, the third one is guard your heart. In the scriptures, so when you study words, right? So if you think about the ancient world, whether it's through the scriptures or even through Egyptian texts, when you talk about the heart, when they say words like the heart or anything surrounding that, the word heart and mind are interchangeable. The word heart can be for the actual organ, but can actually also mean the mind. The ancient world knew, they understood deeply that this was connected to this. Right, and they didn't, the Egyptians obviously tore the body up and knew the different parts of the body, but they believed that we spoke from here. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. This is something to guard. So I want you guys to do an exercise with me, and if you've sat in my emotion classes in person, you've done this, but humor me and do this with me just to prove that our thoughts create a physical response. So I want you to close your eyes and imagine you are in an airplane and you're about to jump out. You have a parachute on your back, so you're gonna go skydiving. And if you've already done this before, you've actually been skydiving, this will be such a delight for you. But imagine that wind just rushing on your face. They're telling you, okay, are you ready? And you can feel the cold air blowing on you. And they say, 1, 2, 3, jump. How do you feel? Where in your body are you feeling it? Are you feeling excitement? Are you feeling terrified? Are you feeling a mix of both? Notice your hands. Are they a little sweaty? Feel your heartbeat. Is it racing? When I have people walk through this in a group setting, it's really interesting to see the looks on their faces. Their faces give way, they tell on them, right? And so when we do that type of an exercise, I think we can all agree, if we're just talking together, oh, yeah, our thoughts affect us in a physical way. But it's not until we actually walk through an exercise like this that we're acutely aware that really our thoughts affect our heart directly. The first time I ever walked myself through that exercise, my heart was racing, my palms were sweaty, because I can't for the life of me figure out why anybody would want to leave a perfectly good airplane. I know my dad was a paratrooper for a lot of his life in the Army, and he talked about it. He really talked about it flippantly, like just going for a run. But I think that's a perfectly good airplane. Why would you leave it? And yet to others, it's such a thrill, such a thrill. But in 2021, after we've just walked through 2020, I'm astounded at the things that people are still allowing their heart to feel and to see and to respond to. And this is where, when we guard our heart, we have tools. So I would love for you to choose to write this down. If nothing else, if you remember nothing else from these 21 days or from this, our few minutes of time together, it's this: have a practice, a daily practice of guarding your heart. And the first thing that you'll want to do is use an oil to protect it, like a little shield. And there's a few oils that I'll give you that I have experienced, and I've had other friends in my emotion courses and groups share. You know what? I really enjoyed this one for that. So of course, the first one is our white Angelica. And in fact, I actually have one of our big bottles of it here. I mean, isn't that just the most coveted little thing? So white Angelica has 10 oils that protect and really create this beautiful little bubble around us, around our heart. You can swipe it all over. Again, that's just not something that I do. I always put it over my heart. But for me, more than white Angelica, I find a combination of sage and Palo Santo being incredible. I swipe some sage over my shoulders and some Palo Santo on top, and then I put it over my heart. Those are just two that I have found to be really, really powerful. Another one that a friend shared with me was hyssop and frankincense, interchangeably or together. Those are really just lovely oils to protect and guard your heart. And think about it. It's also going to help your heart work back into its state of perfection. Our body is just constantly trying to heal itself. So the heart is also going to be doing that. Adding an oil on top of it is only going to help that even more. Breathing it in, putting it along your arteries, just right through here, is going to allow for that to get into your bloodstream and go right to the heart. So we guard our heart in that way. The second thing you want to do is guard your heart, which would be your mind, according to the ancients. And be sure that you have words of life, affirmations, that you're constantly speaking. Whether it's little post-it notes on your computer, maybe on your phone. You know, we all have these devices, and maybe instead of a background of your pet or a spouse or children, put some words of life on your screen. Words that speak truth. I don't know what those are for you, but you know what it's not. When we see words that pierce our heart, that hurt our hearts, that cause our mind to swirl and spin and remove sleep from us, we know that those aren't words that we need to be meditating on and rolling around in our mind. But creating words with a positive affirmation, beginning with I am, I have, I feel is such a powerful duo of words. When we speak the words I am, we're speaking a constant state of being. If I say I am hungry, I am literally speaking out loud, I am a constant state of hunger. English is the only language where we say that. If you've ever learned any other language, it's I have hunger. It's something that you have in your hand. And also then you can just drop it, right? It's not a part of who you are. I wonder if that isn't why many people in our nation struggle with weight reduction. We're constantly thinking this, right? If we were to say, I have hunger, or in our mind think about that, or I would like to eat something, it's different. It holds a different weight. My mom used to do this to me and it would drive me nuts, but now unfortunately I do it to my children, right? I would come in, Mom, I'm so hungry. Hello, hungry, it's nice to meet you. It used to just drive me bananas. Because, you know, at the time you're a kid, you feel like you're just famished and she's making fun of you. So now I do it to all 5 of my children. And they roll their eyes, when's dinner? You know, that kind of thing. But it has really trained them and shown them you're not hungry. You are whoever you are, whatever your name is. You might feel hunger pains. So when you get up in the morning, what are the words that are rolling around in your mind? Is it truth? Are there words that make your heart and your mind feel peaceful? Does your heart and mind feel healed? Your heart and mind, do they feel assured, strengthened, secure? Believe me when I say I'm not coming at this flippantly. I just moved from Massachusetts about 4 or 5 months ago, where it was very scary for my family to live. Not just because of COVID, there were some other things that really created a lot of holding our breath. So I understand walking through times that are not easy. But that doesn't mean that our heart cannot be at peace and that our minds cannot be at peace. It's a practice. Our world, as we've seen, is ever changing. And unfortunately, 7 billion people on the planet, most of us put our hope and trust in something that is so changing, always different, fallible, even if we say we don't. So I'm going to challenge you, when you guard your heart, you put your oils on, but you speak words of truth and life. And here's what I know about that. When we speak words, even if we don't feel like they're real or feel like it's truth, your mind will begin to believe it. Your mind will begin to follow suit, and then your body will walk it out. The third thing is, in guarding your heart, is assess your environment. Assess your environment. My friends, this also includes your circle of influence. Our circles of influence are so vast, literally international. We have global communication at our fingertips. Probably all of us have friends all over the country. Many of us have friends all over the globe. So we have all this different input coming in at rapid fire. Rapid fire. And I'm not making a plug to get off social media. I think social media is a delight. And I think if you know the God that I know, then we are obligated to use it for good. That we're obligated to share love and truth and hope and light on it, not to get sucked into all the nonsense, right? I'm not saying social media is bad, but what I am saying is, who is speaking into your life? Who are you letting take up free space? Today would be a great day to write down who is in your circle of influence. Are they life-giving? Are they healing? And if they're not, put them in their proper place. And I don't mean send them a message or post on social media, I'm getting rid of all my friends. You're so lucky if you see this message. Like, come on. What are we, 5 over here? Really? No. It's a mental thing. It's all here. Everything we talk about with heart health, it's just between you and your body, you and your mind. And it's an exercise, a daily exercise to say, okay, that person, that comment, that whatever they're sharing, it doesn't resonate with me. So I'm going to mentally put them not in my circle. I love sharing this visual. I wish I had come up with it. It's a dear friend of mine that came up with it. And so I love, she knows that I share it. But she talks about people in your neighborhood and those that are on our porch with us, right? There are friends that we would have tea with or lemonade, and we would be okay just sharing life with them. Maybe they would speak into us, we would speak into them, and it's a mutual edification. It's just lovely. Unfortunately, we treat people who should be on the other side of the street as our porch pals. We let them speak in, we let their words sink and resonate, not realizing that there's that person. Then there's neighbors that we might wave to and say hi, maybe chit-chat, borrow a cup of sugar, flour, whatever. How's it going? Always in this nice weather. And then we move on. Very casual acquaintances. Perhaps these are people who, if you have a question maybe about essential oils, hey, what do you use for sleep or whatever? It's that kind of a thing. And then there's people who are across the street, maybe across the neighborhood, who you see every once in a while. You barely know their name. But they don't take up any room in your mind. Perhaps if they drive a Toyota and you're a big Ford fan, it's like, no worries. No, good for them. It just doesn't take up any space in your mind. In order to care for our heart, we have to understand it's our heart, it's our mind. We only have one of each. We only have one, and it's truly up to us. If somebody isn't pleased with how you're taking care of your heart, they don't belong in your neighborhood. They just don't. You know, it's when we minister to other people, when we share and do life with people, we can't do life with 7 billion people on the planet. The freedom that comes in understanding that is, it's so great. I don't have to be all things to all people. And they don't have to be all things to me. It's a delightful coexistence. And what you'll find then is, as you guard your heart and you speak truth, the people you attract will be like-minded. And you can build each other up and build each other's hearts up, and you're stronger together in that way, if that makes sense. So as we walk through 21 days of heart health, I hope that you take today and tomorrow's, we'll have a couple of days of a break between intervals, and go back and see, where do I need to assess? Where do I need to change things up? Maybe it's in your food. Maybe it's your oils. Maybe it's how you speak, guarding your heart. Maybe you've been using oils and it's like, that's not working for me. I heard Elaine was great, but it's not doing anything. Okay, great, change it up. Maybe you've heard about affirmations, but it feels a little weird for you. Know that affirmations, it comes from the Latin word affirmare, which just means to steady, to strengthen. So as we speak words, we're strengthening our mind in that vein. So if we speak words of negativity, lack, regret, fear, frustration, guess what? We're strengthening our mind and consequently our heart in negativity, lack, frustration. Where if we speak words of positivity, abundance, prosperity, health, truth, we're strengthening our mind in that vein. It's so powerful. One of my prayers for all of humanity is that we would understand that our words have power for good or for bad. If you're wanting to increase your heart health, be sure that your words are speaking life to it. Beginning on Sunday, we'll start with a mental spring cleaning. My gift and my bent, the things that I love talking about are mental health and healing and wholeness and all of that. And so I'll just take where everybody is posting about thieves and, ditching the toxins, all that. I'm going to be talking about cleaning this. It doesn't break as much of a sweat as spring cleaning, I can tell you that, but it'll be really good and rich. If you choose to walk through the next 21 days with us, doing this little bit of homework today will put you light years ahead. And I can promise you, walking through just 21 days of mental spring cleaning, that's going to give so much life, I can assure you. Imagine continuing on 2021, and I mean WON, with the idea and the mindset of winning at life, really achieving all that God has for you. It's totally possible, and I hope and pray that you join me in this next time.